What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Shepherd channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks NFL. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Ended up having a decent enough Thanksgiving after the fact. Yeah, the picks overall, if you're paying attention to record, weren't good, but you got to remember, you got to weight things differently when it comes to unit sizing, and well, there's just certain plays on leans that aren't always going to turn into likes. So to repeat for everybody who's new to the program, a lean is something I have not bet yet. I repeat it, a lean is something I have not bet yet. A like is something that's generally around a half unit play, not going to be that full unit or unit and a half. And a lock, that is a full send. And the full send, San Francisco, -6.5, -7. I know a lot of people got in a little bit later, 7, the primary number. Didn't matter. Absolute annihilation. Ended up on a unit and a half on that one in the premium Discord, which, hey, you can now get super, super cheap here over at Odd Shopper. Not only have they slashed the prices across the board in order to make it accessible for everybody, so everybody can see the tools, that being $14.95 a week, $50 there for a monthly. Well, it's half off here. Promo code Black Friday gets you access to everything here at Odd Shopper for a low cost there. Again, 50% off either of those packages. $15 for a week, $50 for a month. So $25 for an entire month of the best tool, utilizing a market-based approach, as well as expert picks. That's myself, Ben Raza, Isaiah Suarez, my guy Nathan, now hanging out there in the premium Discord. Good stuff across the board here from our entire Odd Shopper clan. Excited to bring you all of those great products, especially my picks. Hopefully they can continue to be profitable. And hey, Raheem Mostert, thank you for getting in the box. Had to do it twice. It's extra nice. But hey, got the touchdown. That's what we were looking for. Massive, massive smash there in the NFL streets for the last 2 days. So again, the premium Discord, that's where you get the updated plays. And hey, you got to remember some context to some of these things too. There's a couple of, who the fuck is going to play quarterback for the Patriots on Sunday? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Do you? Anyway, we'll talk about MGM a little bit later, but producer Jacob, he's ready to rock. It's weekend time. We got ourselves some football coming up on Sunday. Got to double check. Week 12. There it is. Week 12, friends. Good job. Good start for me. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. Living in a material world, and I am a material... I don't know. I don't even know why I'm saying that. Here's why I'm saying it, I suppose. The New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons, and it's one of those things where we don't get to take anything with us when we leave this life. That's kind of what it comes down to. But the mistakes that you make along the way get remembered for an eternity. And that's what the Atlanta GM has here. Again, it's just like the it guy that he's going for, making Desmond Ridder the starter here again. You made a mistake. Accept it. He's not good at football. Is he better than Taylor Heineke? Probably, and this might be the right move as such, but you're not going to redeem any value for something you already know. Let me say that again. You're not going to be able to turn in your Desmond Ridder chips and get equal value. It's just not going to happen. In the year 2023, what you need to do is just take as many quarterbacks as you can, try to find one that sticks, and then you're in a good place. Now, Taylor Heineke, kind of weird that Atlanta went out and got him as a backup there because he's decent enough that he can be a back-end starter, but you knew he would never be that guy. And Desmond Ridder, well, you provided some equity there. Then you took Bijan Robinson, the top 10 pick, to not play him. Arthur Smith is out of his damn mind. You should have been firing off Will Levis in that spot. You should have been firing off anybody that was available. And I know producer Jacob also has some deep, deep thoughts that are solid about quarterback play in the year of our Lord 2023. He is shaking his head. Yeah. Anybody enjoy watching Tim Boyle play football today? I sure didn't. More like Tim cooked. I tweeted that, so I just stole my own tweet. But anyway, we've got the New Orleans Saints on the other side. Kind of some quarterback flux on the entire slate in lots of these spots, and this isn't one of them anymore. Derek Carr, concussion, going to be fine out of the middle of nowhere. There are so many times I think it's going to be Jameis Winston, and I'm excited. I think we're going to get Jameis Winston cooking season, even though they've had the kitty gloves on him in these times. And, well, going to be Derek Carr, who, once again, how many injuries can you sustain over the course of a season and still have like a 66% completion percentage, still not be complete dust, although only 6.7 yards per pass attempt or per completion? It's not ideal, friends. It's not good stuff. And Derek Carr, throwing to Chris Olave. Chris Olave is going to be keyed in on hard in the absence of Michael Thomas. A.T. Perry, he's the guy that, if anybody watched that Minnesota game, the guy that Jameis Winston rolled left, threw it all the way across the field at like the 2-yard line. It was sick. And I'm a Viking fan, so just is what it is. But Chris Olave, friends, this is a massive receiving yard prop on him. 71.5 with Derek Carr coming back against an Atlanta secondary that, for the most part, been pretty good at preventing yardage in terms of opposing defense, well, opposing offenses. There you go. 200 almost on the dot. 200.4 yards per game given up through the air. And I know Chris Olave, I mean, you just break that down, that would have to be, carry the one, 35%, 40% target share in some kind of capacity. Well, regardless, I cook it up in my numbers and, do the whole magical elixir thing. Never doing that again with my hands. But we, friends, are going to lean the under of 71.5. I think the public, we're going to see some numbers move. I mean, Chris Olave, hey, he's absent Michael Thomas. Maybe we see this at 75, 76. Wait closer to kickoff on this one. That is going to be my major note for a lot of these unders when it comes to like new scenarios. Atlanta doesn't give up a lot of yardage through the air as is. Defenses will now be able to key in on a little bit more here on, well, Derek Carr also sucks. So there you go. Under 71.5, but I'm hoping this gets to 74, 75, but I would still, again, it's a lean purely because I haven't bet it yet. Otherwise, I think it's a good play. Woof. We have some totals that are just egregious on this slate. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, this is one of them, mainly because Kenny Pickett just talked about it and these material things in this world. Maybe it's just like the Black Friday in me. Again, promo code Black Friday. You can take advantage of that here and get yourself 50% off any package here at Odd Shopper. It's beautiful, but you sign up for that in the link below. But a lot of people, my credit card's getting a workout right now buying presents for my family, and my wife thinks that on November 24th, I need to have all the Christmas lights hung up, and it's just not a thing. You know who's not celebrating Christmas right now? Cincinnati. That's where I'm getting at with this one. See, it's kind of some strange roundabout ways. Also, I got some dirt on my coat. I was playing with my dog, but it's fine. Yucky. And I feel yucky. Let's take this off. Bet you didn't think I was going to strip during this program. Anywho, I'll give you the analysis as we're talking through it. Jake Browning is not good at football. Kenny Pickett might actually be worse because Jake Browning, longtime starter there for the Washington Huskies. Woof, woof, Michael Penix season. That might be the draft. We'll see. I'm excited for the Bo Nix showdown. Hopefully Oregon can get it done tonight against Oregon State. That is why I'm recording this right now. Producer Jacob, in case you cared, that needs to happen. That starts in like 20 minutes. But we are looking at Jake Browning under 0.5 passing touchdowns. This is a Pittsburgh defense that is not good. And I almost pulled the trigger on Tim Boyle under 0.5 touchdowns today, and thank God I didn't. Wish I had taken the over of 1.5 interceptions, which I couldn't believe was the line, plus 155. But hey, I'll take my Raheem Mostert bucks. I will go to, well, not to the bank. I will just allow my wife to buy more presents for my family. Material world. Hate it so much. But this one looks a lot better to me purely because I do think Jake Browning might be the worst quarterback now starting in the NFL. I think there's a strong chance that that's the case. Opens at 5.5. Now it's moved to Pittsburgh minus 1.5. I think the books kind of agree. Obviously, Joe Burrow to anybody is going to be a downgrade, but this one's especially ridiculously bad. All right, let's stop with some of this lean shit. Let's get some plays, shall we? Carolina, Tennessee. And the first thing that has to be noted, as we get closer to the end of this season, Carolina does not have their first round pick. Therefore, tanking, not a thing that applies to Carolina. We can't even have that conversation. The Bears, they have the number 1 pick. Carolina went out and got Bryce Young. Ooh, whoopsie. Again, you want to fire off as many rounds as you can trying to get a quarterback of the future. And Bryce Young has not necessarily looked like that dude. In fact, in Andy Dalton, the one start that we got from him in Seattle was like my favorite version that we've gotten of this Carolina offense. The guy went out, threw it 58 times, 361 yards. And yeah, Adam Thielen's been serviceable no matter what. There hasn't been anybody else serviceable here whatsoever. Hayden Hurst going to be out for this one, and we'll get back to that for 1 second, but I'll at least touch on the Tennessee side. Will Levis, after the absolute smacking that he put on Atlanta 28-23, and it was pretty much him and DeAndre Hopkins doing all of the work. 3 consecutive losses for Tennessee, who have now gone away from Ryan Tannehill. That was on the road in Pittsburgh, on the road in Tampa, on the road in Jacksonville. Finally gets back on home turf. Does that matter here? Well, I don't know. I think it matters a lot more that he's playing against Carolina in this secondary. I think there's some opportunity to maybe And Okonkwo, I haven't pulled the trigger on an anytime touchdown number on him yet, but that's continuing to trend up. And I think he's going to end up being a red zone target if Tennessee can actually get to the freaking red zone. Like I think that's kind of the first problem that we've ran into. But 0 touchdowns on the season for Okonkwo. I think eventually I'm going to pull the trigger when this thing gets north of like 400. I think it'll probably happen sooner rather than later. Treylon Burks going to be out yet again this week, so gives more opportunities to guys like Nick Westbrook-Akina, Chris Moore. None of these are exciting options. Kyle Phillips, I suppose, will be another human being active wearing a Tennessee Titans jersey, so we'll figure something out there. Again, odd shopper, if one of these guys makes sense to short or go over, I will just blindly back odd shopper in the market-based approach there. But Carolina, this is a play that almost ended up as a lock for me. But even as Frank Reich gave over the play calling duties to I can't even remember the offensive coordinator's name right now, but the scheme necessarily hasn't changed. And I went through a couple of Adam Thielen's route trees. And yes, as a scorned Minnesota fan my entire life, not fun to see Adam Thielen be as successful as a go-to wide receiver this season. Obviously, you didn't know Justin Jefferson was going to get dinged up, and Jordan Addison I always believed in, so this is going to be an enjoyable experience having both of them on the field, hopefully this week. We'll see. But Adam Thielen, friends, 11, 10, 11, 13, 14. Those are 5 of his last 7 target allotments. Now, it hasn't been the best forms of targets because they're coming from Bryce Young and this Carolina offense. But Tennessee, this is a prime matchup to attack it through the air. Over 230.8 passing yards per game here this season, 21st in the NFL. You actually can get after them on the ground as well, 112.3. That's more middle of the road. And Tennessee, a very noted pass funnel. But I got to say, no tanking. That's not going to be a thing for Carolina. And I think they're starting to realize that Adam Thielen is the most important player on the field, not just in terms of like what he can do offensively, but in Bryce Young's progression. You want to instill confidence. They go out and get pummeled by Dallas. A lot of teams are getting pummeled by Dallas for what it's worth. 33-10 there. You want to get him on the right track here. First of all, allow for more than 4 or 5 yards down the field for him to go out and target, because 4.2, 4.9, 4.4 for Yak, that's not going to get it done. But that is why I'm targeting receptions for Adam Thielen over 6.5. I like it. I'm also leaning Adam Thielen anytime touchdown because this is starting to be a number that is very, very tasty. Plus 230, plus 240, kind of the primary numbers, plus 240 available over at DK right now, anytime touchdown. Think it's worth a sprinkle, but I got enough other plays on the card that don't want to try to jump in too early. If I miss the boat here, such is life. It's still Carolina. Tampa Bay taking on Indy, and this one's a really fun matchup for a couple of reasons. First off, Tampa Bay's defense is starting to regress a little bit. Not completely dinged up here by any means, but yeah, San Francisco's not going to make you look good here routinely, but we've now seen them have quite a few shootouts in the recent box scores. 27-14. Again, that wasn't necessarily it, but 37-39, they lose to Houston. They end up having 26-29 against New Orleans. There was actually all of them going, but it is truly one of those spots where now I think there's some potential here with this Indy offense, having Jonathan Taylor and the dimension he's now added in the passing game to the fray. Yeah, only 1 target now, 2 of the last 3 weeks, but 5 targets there against Carolina. That New England game, everybody's going to have low scoring games about it. I say that now knowing Demario Douglas is on the card here because I'm a sick person, the life of which I don't understand. But we are looking at a Tampa Bay team that I think with Rachaad White have started to just figure out, hey, he's not your stereotypical running back. Have him involved in the passing game over and over and over again. 354 yards now, 44 targets, 41 receptions. Very efficient from Baker Mayfield, dumping off to Rachaad White. And I know most dump-offs are going to be efficient unless they're Breece Hall from Tim Boyle. How many pseudo Tim Boyle shots can I get in? Hey, and I bet the over of his passing yards, and he went over. So yay for that. I just thought that they were going to get slaughtered, and they did. But Tampa Bay, friends, this is a team that I think still has some skill position pieces. As long as you have a healthy Godwin and Evans, this is a team that, yeah, I expect points here. But Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss still getting mixed in, hopefully at times. The New England game was so weird. Again, that Jonathan Taylor was the lion's share of everything there. And yeah, you got Kylan Granson, who hasn't necessarily worked out at the tight end position, but We're talking about a defense, Tampa Bay, 31st against the pass here. That's not good when there's 32 teams in the NFL. So Indy, Gardner Minshew, Jonathan Taylor. This is a game I like as a sneaky over, 44.5. It's a game that in DFS circles, I'm going to be stacking up a lot. Michael Pittman, you know my love for him. And Josh Downs, there's definitely something with him and Gardner Minshew. Nice to see Josh Downs have a pulse maybe here. That would be good. Again, the Carolina game, they didn't need to utilize anybody. And New England, that was just a dogfight. It was the worst football game I've probably ever gone back and rewatched in my life. 10-6. It's like watching Iowa. Woof. Over 44.5. I like it. Let's get to a read. Friends, BetMGM. That is what we got fired up here right now in the video description box below. You simply sign up, get yourself $1,500 in bonus bets. Again, you can claim up to that. What it is whatever you fire up for that first bet that you fire up, you're going to get yourself access to up to $1,500 back on a loss. So if you put $100 in, you bet 100, it doesn't win, you're going to get $100 back in bonus bets all the way up to $1,500. But that is not all, my friends. 2 months of the Odd Shopper tools. Yes, we have promo code Black Friday going on. Yes, we slashed the prices drastically across the board to help all of you get access to the tools and content we have here, to my picks specifically, to guys like Ben Roz's picks specifically, but also the market-based approach tool that is the best in the entire industry. You're going to get it for 2 months just by trying out BetMGM. So sign up at the link below. Get yourself access to those tools. Again, that is a $100 value there, $50 a month. Yeah, you could get it for $50 for the 2 months when you use promo code Black Friday. Well, just for the one, $25 for Black Friday. So it'd be $75, but save that money, put it to use over at BetMGM. Get your exposure to another great sports book. If you're 21 and over, if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Dear God. New England, -3.5 taking on the Giants here. 33.5 total. Not great, Bob. Not great. I mean, this is just as disgusting of a spot as you could humanly possibly ever run into. And hey, you saw Tommy DeVito cook against Washington 31-19. I think everybody's going to cook against Washington. That's what we've established. You trade away your 2 biggest trade pieces in Sweat and Young, and, well, they're going to provide fruits for other teams. But yeah, that's not helping you here for Washington. But we're not even talking about Washington. They're just catching a stray from me. And New England, yeah, they're done with this ridiculousness. Ezekiel Elliott's still getting mixed in, 13 carries against Indy because they're just completely phoning in this season. You got Darius Slayton on the Giants side, probably gonna be on the sidelines. Oh yeah, he is doubtful now. That's great to see that blurb here as we're going along, because I do think he matters to get this Giants offense moving a little bit. Well, it's going to be a lot of Wan'Dale Robinson, short yardage, short out type routes. You're going to have Isaiah Hudgens kind of worked in there a little bit. I think Jalen Hyatt has to see a lot more snaps now in the absence, because he can be an extra wide receiver. He's not good, but he's going to have to fill in the Darius Slayton role. Somebody is. This is going to be an awful football game. So let's talk about an over. You have on Friday the news I was waiting for. Hey, who's going to start? Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi. Bill Belichick said, I'm not going to tell you, because that's where we're at now. Bill Belichick can just outright say, I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to start. And now we're going to have to find out like Sunday game time. No idea. They split reps in practice. Mac Jones off the injury report. No idea what's going on here anymore. What happened to the days of just telling who's going to start your football game? You think that teams don't prepare for either quarterback, or at least have ideas about the quarterback who might not play as much? Everybody's got a freaking iPad on the sideline. I don't understand the madness. I don't understand. What competitive edge is this in the NFL? And also, you're New England. You're not trying to win football games. You can't win football games. God. Anyway, it doesn't really matter to me if it is Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. I kind of prefer Bailey Zappi. More of the unknown, although hasn't looked good in very limited snaps so far this season. 10 for 25, 40% completion percentage. But that shouldn't surprise anybody, considering you're throwing to the likes of Juju Smith-Schuster, Kendrick Bourne, who's on the IR now. But Devontae Parker has gotten upgraded from he was out with the concussion. Now he's up to questionable here. But Demario Douglas, as I start running everything, I'm always a little bit surprised to see that I have like a 9.5 target share projection on him. Even with a guy like Devontae Parker coming back, Parker is dust. It's nothing about him. It's simply another healthy body on the field. I think Demario Douglas plays nearly 100% of snaps here. And I think he's your number one wide receiver by a pretty noticeable gap here in New England. Not sure what the public thinks about him, but I do think 46.5 receiving yards is a little bit low. Fired up a half unit on this, minus 110 pretty much across the board here. I don't understand why we can't know which quarterback is going to be out there, but even if it ends up being Bailey Zappi, even if it ends up being Mac Jones, this is too low of a number for a guy who 9.5 targets. You give him 6 catches for 60. This is a pretty good number to be getting to. Making good time here as we're talking Jacksonville, Houston, and my dear God, no, it's like a weekly thing. I just have to eat crow every single time because CJ Stroud confirmed very good at football. Not something I anticipated coming down the pipeline, but CJ Stroud kind of entering the MVP conversation. They beat Arizona 21-16, 17 touchdowns, did throw 3 picks, which was pretty wild to see. He goes from 2 to 5. Kind of makes the box score look a little bit wonky, but I got to say that's just like for the old beat writer dudes who are voting on this kind of shit. Oh, he threw 5 interceptions. 3 of them were against Arizona in a game where he was getting maybe a little too aggressive, a little bit too big for his britches. Actually, he's very big for his britches. Huge talent. That's what I'm getting at. That's actually from Moulin Rouge. He's got a huge talent. Anyway, CJ Stroud, friends, very good at the old football and love seeing him as the only rookie quarterback really throwing it down the field whatsoever. Nice to see the leash there that he has. You do have Dameon Pierce, who is questionable for this one, so probably takes away some of the lust that I had for Devin Singletary. I jammed that Devin Singletary anytime touchdown. Nice to get that one across the board again. We still smashed in the premium Discord there, hit every anytime touchdown. I believe he had 6 on the card, went 5 for 6. Tony Pollard even hit. That's what you know. Back-to-back Tony Pollard hits. I didn't bet him on Thursday, if I'm being honest. You don't care. Producer Jacob cares, though, because he likes to give me shit about Tony Pollard for some reason. That's not very nice. I can see that, Jacob. He's just saying hello. I think that's how his Martian kind. You say it like this, right? It's like, dude, where's my car where they pee out their finger? I'm talking to myself. Don't mind me. Tank Dell's very good at football, though, here. And going up against Jacksonville, a team that teams have been a little bit more targetable with. And I got to say, Jacksonville is going to be a fun team on the other side of this one. This should be a track meet, but at the current total here, 47.5, I think it's pretty close to efficient. Would slightly lean the over. Could see myself taking the over. But 10, 14, 11, those are the last 3 games, target allotments. And I don't always lean on receptions because targets, if they're meaningful targets and they're down the field for Tank Dell, 18.6 yards per catch, 19 per catch against Tampa Bay in absolute track meets. These are good opportunities to get invested in. Tank Dell going to be one of the top wide receivers going forward in the NFL based on 1, his target rate, 2, how far down the field is ADOT just out of control, air yards out of control. It's insane. It's really insane. So let's make some money in the process. I can't believe plus 170 is the number for a deep shot guy for CJ Stroud, who likes to take these kind of shots and is very good at taking them. I think plus 170, Dalton Schultz was somebody who almost made the card here for what it's worth here in this program. But I also like the over of 4.5 receptions. So fire that up too. 4.5 receptions for Tank Dell. Just put those together. It's beautiful stuff. Just CJ Stroud is good. What a disturbing, disgusting football game this is, but we got to talk about it because it's my kind. Man, we don't have to. There's 4 afternoon games. This kicks off the window here. 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Cleveland taking on Denver. And hey, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, decent. 24 for 43. Not a great completion percentage. Kitty gloves on him. 3.8 yards per reception there. 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. But led a game-winning drive against Pittsburgh. Ended up just winning a ridiculous football game. Cleveland's defense is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Their offense is probably not good enough to win the Puppy Bowl, but it is what it is. I like DTR as a human. I like DTR as a quarterback maybe a year or 2 down the road. Kind of feels like a shiny, like the rich man's Tyrod Taylor, if we're going to be honest. I think that could end up being DTR long-term. Producer Jacob didn't like that. I don't know why. Tyrod Taylor. Justin Herbert should send flowers to Tyrod Taylor. Actually, he should send it to the doctor that screwed over Tyrod Taylor that year for the rest of his life. Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. In this one, this is an under that I'm actually behind here. We have some super low totals on the board here, but going into Denver, Russell Wilson been looking better and better. Sutton starting to put it together as well. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games with a touchdown. Really nifty stuff here from Courtland Sutton, but don't be one of those people who now jumps on the Courtland Sutton touchdown train. Don't buy at a high price point. That is not the name of the game. Under 37, we want to just short this game altogether because Cleveland is going to slow it down. They're going to hand the ball off a lot to Jerome Ford, short yardage out routes to David Njoku. That is what they did. That is what they are going to continue to do. And Denver, they're playing really good. Defense is looking really good. This is a football game that I love for scoring. The Rams, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray. We've been kind of backing him here. Ran into a little bit of a sputter there. That was one of the misses that I had from Sunday. No doubt about it. You saw a game where lots of turnovers and three picks that we ended up getting from frickin' CJ Stroud. You had a fumble and a pick from Kyler Murray. 5 touchdowns, 4 of which came inside of the 30 on both hashes. That's going to be a killer. That's an absolute killer to a total. 21-16, knew I was in trouble from the get-go on that one. But we're going to run it back here because Arizona's defense is not all that in a bag of potato chips. And then the Rams, somehow, some way, Matt Stafford gets dinged up. He's fine. Cooper Kupp gets dinged up. His low ankle sprain. He's fine. So you're getting a full blast Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. You have to wait on the news for Marquise Brown, but regardless, I think Rondale Moore, I think Trey McBride emerging as one of the top tight ends in so many ways here right now. This is just a game that you want exposure to if you're playing in the DFS streets and makes for a great single game parlay section. Now, I want to throw out Odd Chopper loves themselves some unders, but that's because these numbers are just projected sky high as is, except for Puka Nacua. Now, you have a low ankle sprain. You have Cooper Kupp, who practiced in full on Friday. That just hit the wire a couple of hours ago. So, I want you treading a little bit lightly. Puka Nacua is at 60.5 receiving yards. I'm going to lean that direction. But the main thing, I like the over of 45. I think Arizona and LA offensively can do whatever they want against each other. And Kyren Williams, yes, Kyren Williams gets back into the fray here off the IR, going to be activated. They let Darrell Henderson go. Thank God I don't have to bang my head against a wall trying to figure out if it's him or Royce Freeman anymore. It's going to be a ton of Kyren Williams, my friends. Black Friday sale, friends, industry-leading betting tools. Yes, that is everything at OS. We have going 50% off using code Black Friday. That is your first month or first week. Whatever your first payment is that you want to take advantage of, we've now slashed those prices down to $15 and $50. So 15 for a week, 50 for a month. But you're going to get 50% off of that number. So that becomes what? Sub $8, $25 on the number there for a month. Just use code Black Friday down below. See what these tools can do for you. Again, sort by expected value. Use Sharp Sportsbook to help indicate your action and go and win yourself some monies, my friends. Alrighty, y'all. Off we go. Back to the picks. 3 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we talk Kansas City after they choked. Absolute choke job. What are you doing? What are you doing? Had the Eagles. We had them. We let them off the hook is what it is. Just stupid. Stupid play calling. Also, MVS drops. And if this were 2022, when I was thinking MVS could have been it, I would have been in shambles. But you know what? Those times have passed, and thank God they're just rotating in 48 guys, and we don't have to think about it so much. I guess you do have to factor in, hey, is Taylor Swift going to be in the building or not? She didn't go to Minnesota, but she might go to Vegas. I'm so sick of it. I'm actually really not interested in anything in this game. I will say, I'm going to use this as my recommendation. Go watch Hard Knocks, the Miami Dolphins edition. They talked a lot about Max Crosby, the preparation they had for that game on Sunday. It is so freaking cool. My wife even loved it, although she finds Mike McDaniel a little bit off-putting, and I can't say that I completely disagree with her. So, +10, Las Vegas, just a lean. Have no interest in betting this football game. Perfectly efficient total here. Devontae Adams, hey, we ended up capitalizing on his overs the other week, but Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, maybe? No, there's no value. This is an awful game to bet. Finally, we reached the lock of the program. The Buffalo Bills taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and Philly getting really, really lucky up against the Kansas City Chiefs, although I was okay with it at a certain point. But I am looking at A.J. Brown having a massive comeback game here. Yes, Kansas City completely schemed him out of that entire festivities, but 2 Jalen Hurts, tush pushes later is what it is, friends. Philadelphia is really, really good at football, but defensively, I've been saying it constantly. They have weaknesses. They have things we want to take advantage of. Didn't really find any of the numbers I was hoping for Travis Kelce, Kansas City in general. But this is Stephon Diggs, and it's nice to finally have an alpha because Philly, they're going to shut down the run. In fact, they're going to also get after the quarterback with Jalen Carter. Why we allowed Philadelphia to end up getting him? Come on, NFC, or every team in the draft before it. Ridiculous stuff. But Stephon Diggs is going to smash on Sunday. Just you prepare yourself. First in rushing defense are the Philadelphia Eagles, 76.5 yards per game, but nearly 250 yards through the air. They got so lucky last time out that Kansas City just has terrible play calling in the second half. I'm not sure what Andy Reid's doing. He's very smart and smarter than us, but I don't know what to say. Stephon Diggs is going to get all of the target volume here. Didn't really have to utilize him against the Jets. Played from up that entire way. And the Denver choke job, well, there really aren't any words for that. But coming off of 34 yards and 27 yards receiving for Stephon Diggs, he's loud. He's going to get himself the football here in every single way. And so the number that I like the most right now, the thing that I bet instantly, the first bet I made all week was what can I get Stephon Diggs over 6.5 receptions? Plus 115. Now it's at plus 105 here over on BetMGM right now, and it is still a lock, my friends. So fire it up to the moon. Stephon Diggs, you are going to see Josh Allen completely target him like there's no tomorrow here. And I do like Khalil Shakira. He's going to be on the field a lot more here. They're going to a lot more 11 personnel in the absence of Dawson Knox. Dalton Kincaid, hey, can slam your body down and wind it all around Spice Girls style. But anyway, that's all I have. Let's get to an exotic play to finish out the evening. The Baltimore Ravens, the Los Angeles Chargers, your Sunday night football game. Fingers crossed. You never know what you're going to get in these primetime spots. But Baltimore is going to be without one. So sad. Mark Andrews. It's so brutal seeing two injuries. You got the Mark Andrews one, the Joe Burrow one from last Thursday. Brutality. Not enjoyable for anybody. But, hey, we continue on our merry way. And Isaiah Likely, it's not likely he fills into the same role that Mark Andrews did. This is going to be a lot of Zay Flowers. Odell Beckham, questionable. That's something I'm going to pay attention to. But the one play I thought about recommending here before I just decided not to. Rashad Bateman. I think there's an opportunity for Rashad Bateman to have to play a much larger role. And if they want to get away from 12 personnel, and if they don't want to have Isaiah Likely play that role, where Mark Andrews, he missed the first week of the season and Likely did not run nearly as many routes or was not targeted at all, basically. And that's because of how much better Zay Flowers is compared to some of the receivers they had in Baltimore last season. But you got a week to prepare. You get that Sunday night festivity. I don't really know what to make of it. All I know is that they are actual favorites here on the road in LA regardless. So pay close attention to that news. But I want to get to an exotic play here because this isn't something I ever fire up, but this is the power of the Odd Shopper tools. They've been positive ROI, like nearly 4%. I was going back through. We do all of the sample size and the back testing. It's great stuff, but nearly a 4% expected ROI on halves and quarters in terms of expected ROI. And this was the top one that existed on the board. Over 7.5 first quarter total. What? Minus 116 over on FanDuel. I suppose this has more to do with the Chargers defense being terrible. There's going to be no Bosa out there. It's really brutal. Again, a lot of injuries last week. It was brutality across the board, but 7.5, you break it down into 48 and you do the math. Obviously the end of the first half, end of second half, those end up being adjusted numbers, but over 7.5 first quarter number. I like it. It's a half unit play. Hey, let's start tracking some of this stuff, shall we? And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist here on the board for Week 12. Sunday's going to be a fun one, that's for sure. It's going to be fun in the premium Discord. Use promo code Black Friday. Again, those prices have been slashed, and then you're going to get even better prices, and it's going to be good times, my friends. Go ahead, get yourself signed up. The water's warm here. It's going to be beautiful stuff. But my friends, can't wait to see you here very, very shortly, in very short order. Be here for the NBA streets. Be here talking, well, football next week. Hopefully you enjoyed the Thanksgiving edition. Again, record, that doesn't matter nearly as much as winning money. We are here to win money. That is the goal. And again, nice to get bailed out by San Francisco. Thank you so much to them. I really appreciate it. And I think everybody in Premium Discord did as well. So sign up for all of that together. The tools, the Discord, all of that down below. Promo code Black Friday. Alrighty, y'all, I'm out of here. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NFL streets.